say that I've been calling you tonight. 어디 있는 거야 지금 넌?
안녕하세요. 저는 Gina입니다. 만나서 반가워요. Hello everybody. Today I started off today's episode with a little Korean. Oh yeah. I said 안녕하세요. Hello. 저는 Gina입니다. My name is Gina. I am Gina. I said 만나서 반가워요. Nice to meet you. Oh, I got my Korean going on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm still working on the pronunciation. I'm not fluent yet. But hey, I'm going to get there one day. It's all about positivity. Alright. So today I will be talking about my adventure to Seoul Tower. Okay, so I know a lot of international students from Seoul tonight are going to Seoul Tower. I think it's also called Namsan Seoul Tower or Namsan in Seoul Tower. One of those. I just call it Seoul Tower to simplify it. And I decided a few days ago to go with a friend I ran into on my way out to get a snack. And okay, so tonight I think they're gonna like take a bus and go to Seoul Tower and say, oh my god, it's Seoul Tower, and then come back and say, oh, I went to Seoul Tower. My story is a little bit more how do I say it? It's a little less yay or less happy. Though it was worth it when we got there. So I ran into my friend Ryan. He kind of just was like, let's just go. And I'm like, yeah, cool, whatever. Okay, so he told me, like, after I grabbed something to eat before we left, he told me it would take like 30 minutes to get there. And I was like, okay, cool, like 30-minute walk at night. It's nice, get a cool breeze going, it's all good. But 2 hours, 4 hills, and a mountain later, we get to Seoul Tower. And I'm like, what? Like, okay, first of all, we passed like this jail looking place. Like, I think we walked through the hood. One of the hoods of South Korea. I was like, okay, this is not safe. But when I saw this coffee shop named Jesus Coffee, I felt safe, a little bit more safe. Okay, so then we walked up a few hills, and at some point we had to walk up some stairs, like public stairs or whatever, to get up to the mountain or whatever. And Ryan was like, hey, let's go up these stairs. And I was like, I don't know, Ryan. Maybe we shouldn't go up those stairs. Those look dangerous. And he was like, nah, it should be fine. So he goes in and, he checks out the stairs. And then he comes, like, darting out of this gate. He comes, like, running out. And I'm like, oh my god, what happened? And he was like, no, somebody's house. Go, go, go. And I was like, oh my god. I hope we don't get arrested before we go to Seoul Tower. So then we found another set of stairs that were pretty much like, it was pretty much like going up a ladder because they were so steep. And we get up those stairs, we find the street, then we still weren't really sure like where to go. We almost went hiking up this little forest area where we saw this guy going, but he like disappeared. We followed him, we were just being tourists, and we're like, oh, let's follow the guy going into the dark forest. And we did it. And then it was getting really dark. Like, there was like a little light in there, but it turned off, and we didn't see the guy anymore. And we were like, oh crap, let's just turn around, let's go back. And when we turned around, the guy that disappeared, he popped out of a bush like, ah! And I was like, oh, okay, it's time to go. So, yeah, we got out of the little foresty part. And, the guy that jumped out of the bush, he wasn't like a scary hobo or anything. He looked like he was kind of lost too. But, we just kind of ignored him and walked off. Yeah, so we found a security guard sooner or later, and he was like, well, he didn't say anything. We went up to him and asked him in Korean, like, where is Seoul Tower? Like, we see it, but we don't know how to get up to it. Because, like, there's, like, this big blue and white tower, but then you see all this forest around it. So we're like, we know we don't have to, like, hike up through all that stuff. So, dude, how do we get up there? And he was like, oh yeah, you just go around and you'll find it. And we were like, okay. I was hoping that maybe there would be a bus or something that would take us up there. We ended up hiking up there pretty much. We walked up this road that took us up to Seoul Tower. And, oh my god, like I saw all of these people just biking up this mountain thing, and I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you really a beast like that? Like, they're just on their bike like it was nothing, and I'm like, are you serious? You gonna bike up this mountain? Well, we were like, well, you do your thing, but we're gonna keep our march up the hill. So, we walk up to Seoul Tower, where when we finally get up to Seoul Tower at the top of the mountain, there, caution signs in America, they're like these cone things, and they're like maybe 2 feet tall or something. They're big enough to where you can see it. And at Seoul Tower, they had some caution signs up there. I know one was like, hey, you might fall down the mountain if you don't hold on or stand upright. And there was these other little caution signs that you don't see until you trip over it. Like Ryan did. Like, it was like 2 inches off the ground, little silver thing, 2 inches off the ground. And it said, "Don't walk here." And of course, he didn't see it until he was like laying out flat on the ground like a pancake. And I was just like, "Dang, come on, y'all could, got a better one than that." But it's all good. Seoul Tower was still beautiful. We walk up the mountain things to Seoul Tower, and we were so happy when we got up there. And to make it even better, we saw Cold Stone, and we were just like, that's the perfect way to end a hike. Cold Stone ice cream. Boom! So we got our Cold Stone ice cream. We went to Seoul Tower. We saw the little teddy bear museum, and I was like, "Ooh, it's a teddy bear! I want to buy it." And then I saw that it was like $30 American, and I was like, "Ooh, you're not that cute," so I put it back. So we went up to the tower part, and it was all cool. We saw the direction to where North Korea is. We saw where Chicago would be, or the direction towards Iowa, or whatever. And it was just a really awesome experience. And we walked back down the hill, well, hiked back down the hill, and we saw this deck part on the way down where it was like this area where you could look over the city and just see the landscape, the city landscape, and the nature in the background. It was so beautiful. It really was. Like, that moment, I was like, oh, I want to live here. I want a house here. I want it on this mountain. Like, it was just, it was so gorgeous. Yeah, so we go back down the hill. We try to catch a taxi. That was almost impossible. We tried to get this one taxi, but because it was pulled over on the road. We should have knew better not to go to a taxi that was pulled over on the road already with the hazard lights. And we were just like, hey, can you give us a ride? And he was like, oh, Anio, no, can't. And he basically told us that some girl threw up in the backseat, so we couldn't take the taxi. So we were like, okay. But we found a taxi, and we just made it back, like 15 minutes before curfew. In my next video, or one of the couple of next videos, I will talk about curfew and how you cannot miss curfew. And I experienced missing curfew, and that was the worst night so far that I've had in Seoul. And I don't plan on experiencing that again. Alright, so thanks for listening and watching, and hope you keep watching my updates, and yeah, annyeong.
It's brave
See you next time.
After school.